Welcome back to Vegas Weekly for Saturday, September 12th, 2020. We've got a really big show today. A lot of news, some tips on budget hotels. We're just count them, 5 weeks out from Rocktober, and that means another shot from PJ coming up in just a little bit. Before we step into the news today, I did want to do our weekly channel shout out. And this week we shout out our friend Keno Kid, who along with his better half, Keno Candy, they've been pumping out some videos lately, doing some live stream, doing some room reviews, doing some live play, and they were playing Keno. As always, I will put a link to their channel in the show notes below. Please support them. They're become an integral part of our Vegas vlogging community, and we want to encourage them to do more. This week's news segment is definitely a good news, bad news thing, and we're going to go ahead and start with the positive. And the positive is a lot of hotels reopening. Earlier in the week, Caesars announced that the Link would open on Thursday. Not much of a lead time on that. Of course, the property and several of the restaurants have been open for some time, but the hotel itself has not. The hotel will now be available for reservations on Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, closed the other 3 days. That may become a trend, who knows, as the weekend traffic is usually significantly more than that you see during the week, particularly with no convention business. MGM Resorts announced that Park MGM would indeed be reopening sometime in mid-October, depending upon demand. I don't know how this necessarily affects the Nomad. I would imagine they would probably both reopen around the same time, so that's good news. And after numerous delays, both Oyo and the Tropicana will be opening up next week. Oyo on September 16th. Hey, I know that because they emailed me and told me, hey, we're reopening. Hey, we got some great deals and there's no crowds. And I don't know that most casinos normally would be promoting themselves as not having any crowds, but Oyo will be there. And then the next day, September the 17th, we will see Tropicana opening. So that will leave really just the Cromwell, which of course is involved in this Love Island program. The less said about that, the better. And Planet Hollywood, oddly, which is disappointing to me. It's one of my favorite properties. Those are the two that remain closed or will remain closed on the Las Vegas Strip, at least so far as we know. And finally, some lots of sports-related activities in Las Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights in a 2-1 hole in their Western Conference Finals, but they're still competing there. And this Sunday, the Las Vegas Raiders, say it a few times if you're old like me, they'll be beginning their NFL journey in Carolina with no fans in attendance. A home opener later to come, but Las Vegas will officially have a football team, and they might need one. Okay, so we're into the bad news segment of the show, and if you've been following Twitter, social media in general, or even following news reports, I'm sure you can't have missed some of the negatives that have come up about Las Vegas in the last week. Start with one that was kind of expected, but disappointing in maybe more than one way. December in Las Vegas, typically a very slow month, except for the period in which the National Finals Rodeo comes to town, bringing a lot of cowboys and their admirers, and it's a pretty crazy time, I guess. I've not been there, but from what I hear, it was expected, but the National Finals Rodeo will not be held in Las Vegas this year. It's moving to Texas, where it can apparently go on with crowds and much the same experience. They say they'll be back in Las Vegas in 2021, but that is a big kick in the teeth to a city and a hotel industry which is struggling as it is to keep up. They've also been struggling with some behavioral issues, shall we say, and not just people not wearing masks. So let's just jump right into it. Last weekend, Labor Day weekend, the last sort of big hurrah of the summer, was not one which Las Vegas will look back on with any sort of fondness. Perhaps people remember the debacle that was the NBA All-Star Game some years ago. That left the city with a bit of a black eye. This one may have done the same. Of course, with people out and about with cameras and phones recording everything they see, it's hard to tell how much of what we saw this weekend was unusual, but seeing it certainly was. There were fights. There were all-out brawls. There was racing in the streets. There was a shooting on Las Vegas Boulevard. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Throw that in with the scenes of people grouped together with little or no social distancing, many not wearing masks. And it was not a picture that would appeal to most tourists. The most egregious incident, of course, and I'm sure you've seen the video, was at the Wynn Encore. A big fight broke out late in the evening. Some of the pit bosses were trying to secure the chips because they were concerned about how bad the thing was. It's getting blamed on riffraff. It's just these people coming to town because of these low hotel rates. Well, from my understanding, there were a number of people involved in this brawl who were staying in an extremely expensive suite at the Encore. They may not have been listed on the registration, but they were staying there. So, these were certainly not working class people from Fresno or Flagstaff, okay? It's really easy to just blame this on the fact that there are tourists showing up with shopping bags and coolers who maybe aren't the normal people you see in Las Vegas, or maybe aren't the people that many of the resorts would like to see. But the reality is that regardless whether these people might like to drink a little more beer, smoke a little pot, that doesn't necessarily make them a threat to you and I, whereas some of these incidents do raise legitimate safety concerns. The problem here is that the pandemic has done enough damage. That damage can be fixed. All the people I know that love Las Vegas are still planning to go back when they feel comfortable doing it, when they feel like it's the right thing to do, whether that's next month or next year. They will return. The pandemic is something we're going through together as a nation, as a world. It will pass, and we will return more or less to normal. And we will want to go back to Las Vegas. But we will not want to go back to Las Vegas if there is a perception that the city is dangerous, that I have to be afraid when I step in the elevator, or that I have to be concerned when I'm out on the street after dark. That's the kind of thing that can do permanent damage to Las Vegas's reputation, the kind that doesn't go away quickly, the kind that sours visitors more or less permanently. Now, there's no doubt that police, security, casino executives are putting their heads together and doing everything they can to make sure this never happens again. And with the onset of the fall, the return to school, it's not likely we're going to see weekends anything like this in the future, or let's hope not, or at least let's hope not for the future of Las Vegas, because it wasn't pretty. And you know what isn't pretty? Oh, wait. You know what is pretty? It's PJ. Is he in a robe today? Is he in a hoodie? What is he wearing today? That's always the question of the day, isn't it? And also, whose voice is it introducing the segment? Yeah, it's our week 4 of a shot down to Rocktober. Here's our friend PJ. Let's see what he's cooking up today.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Rocktober. It's going to be a fantastic time in Las Vegas. Now here's PJ with this week's shot.
Hey, John, thanks for another fantastic introduction. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cocktail of the Week on Vegas Weekly with Shot Down countdown. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we've done 3 shots already, and today we're going to do shot number 4. What's wrong with this picture? I'll let you figure it out. Anyhow, let's get right into it, shall we? Let's take the eyes down below and spin for the shots. Oh, did I mention only 34 days left until Rocktober begins? Hallelujah, baby. All right, here we go. Take it downstairs. Let's spin this puppy. And that looks like right between, which is hard because I don't have much space there. All righty, and today's winner is the Caribbean Runner. Caribbean Runner. Ooh, that's going to be a tasty drink indeed, ladies and gentlemen. A very tasty drink. We've got Malibu rum, which, of course, we know I'm using Parrot Bay now. Captain Morgan's and pineapple juice. I hope I got some pineapple juice. Hey, we'll be right back. And, oh, excuse me. We'll be right back and we'll make that shot. Caribbean Runner. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Let's get started with the shot down countdown to Rocktober. Alrighty, these ingredients are going to be 3 different ingredients, each a ½ ounce. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is ½ ounce of Captain Morgan spiced rum. I am making these a little bigger than a ½ ounce, but that's the recipe for 1 shot because we like to do a couple of shots. ½ ounce of coconut rum, your favorite choice. Most people do Malibu. I am trying out Captain Morgan's Parrot Bay. Oops. Let's pour that in there. And a little pineapple juice. Get that right in there. Alrighty, put on our lid. Bring our shot glass back to the center stage. And ladies and gentlemen, let's shake, shall we? That's right, only 34 days to Rocktober. First people to arrive are going to be Gord, Tamara, Simone, and Andy, I believe October 14th. And then the rest will follow. All right, let's pour this puppy. And here we go. All right, there's definitely enough for a little bit more. Ladies and gentlemen, John, I present to you the Caribbean Runner. Cheers, everybody. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's got a serious bite to it, ladies and gentlemen. Very serious bite. A couple of these things, and you could be that person over there in the corner. Like this. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for watching Vegas Weekly's segment, Cocktail of the Week. Rock down. I can't even remember what it is anymore. Shot down to Rocktober, ladies and gentlemen. Shot down to Rocktober. John, how we doing, buddy? You hanging in there? Hey, nice episode this past Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and subscribe. Hopefully the box is popping up, subscribe box. One more for the road. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. John, back to you, sir. Cheers. And with that, everybody, please please, as always, drink responsibly. Peace. I'm out of here.
Okay, thanks, PJ. Why do I get the feeling he keeps making bigger and bigger batches of these shots every week? And maybe having a few after the show. All right. Anyway, only 4 more weeks, 4 more shots to go. This week in our Vegas tips segment, we're going to continue talking about hotels. And this week I'm going to give you some of my picks for the best budget options in Las Vegas, or at least on the Las Vegas Strip. I'm going to do a couple of different categories, and I'm going to give you sort of an all-around winner. We're going to talk about the best pool scene. We're going to talk about the best budget dining options. We're going to talk about the best rooms, and then we're going to group it all together and say, what's the overall best budget property in Las Vegas? And we'll give you some alternatives as well from time to time. Let's start out with the best pool scene. Well, it's got to be the Flamingo. Now, the Flamingo pool is not for everybody. It's loud, it's crowded, it's noisy. Did I say it was loud and noisy? And in much the same way that the casino is, it attracts a wide range of people from all over. You're not going to be hanging out with all the beautiful people getting bottle service, but you are going to be in an amazing setting, one that rivals some of the newer and higher end hotel pool complexes anywhere, and all for a very reasonable price. As I say, you can't beat it for what it is. Some other options here might be the Tropicana, which is another old school Vegas property with kind of an old school, kind of cool pool. Definitely not as raucous as the Flamingo, but another good option if you're wanting to stay on the Strip, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. And one of the big expenditures when you're in Las Vegas, for many of us anyway, is getting something to eat. In some hotel properties, you feel like you're going to have to pay $20 for a sandwich. Others, you feel like you have to walk a half a mile to find someplace decent to eat. So we're going to talk about properties that have a lot of inexpensive, good food on site or very close by. And the winner in the best budget food category, by a narrow margin, I am selecting New York, New York. In addition to a number of sort of fast casual options inside the property, you have access nearby to a number of restaurants also there in the Park District. It's just, like I said, there's like 2 places that do pizza by the slice. You can get hot dogs, you can get burgers, you can get Italian. There's a couple of places that are essentially coffee shop type environments. You got 9-5 Irishman, you got Shake Shack. There's a lot of good options, I guess is what I'm saying at New York, New York, and most of them will not set you back a great deal. It is a close winner over our friends at Planet Hollywood. Now, Planet Hollywood itself has some good options on site. Earl of Sandwich is reasonably priced. The Cafe Hollywood is also a good value, certainly for a set-down restaurant. But there are also a number of good options next door in the Miracle Mile shop. So that's a good alternative. Next, we're going to talk about best rooms. And I'm going to go on the budget side and say our best rooms are at Bally's. Big rooms, comfortable. Most of them remodeled within the last 3 to 7 years. So a good size, over 400 square feet. They all have little mini fridges. Again, they're not fancy, but they're clean and they're comfortable. The beds are nice. And definitely a good choice. You might even get a view from some of the rooms. But for the price and the location, it's just hard to beat Bally's. Bally's isn't your cup of tea, or it's not at the price you like. Another good option a little further north on the Strip is Harrah's. Harrah's has essentially remodeled all of their rooms within the last 3-4 years, and they're very nice. A little bit smaller than Bally's. They don't have the mini fridge on site. But again, it's a friendly property. The rooms are clean, rooms are comfortable, and it's a good base of operations for traveling anywhere around Las Vegas. So finally, my choice for the best all-around budget property in Las Vegas, and it would come as no surprise to people who've been watching this program for a few years, and that is, I'm going to say, Bally's. Now, Bally's doesn't have a great pool, unless you want to swim laps. They've got a deep pool, so that's kind of nice. And there's not a ton of great food options on site, although you're close to Paris and you're also close to the Grand Bazaar shops. You're not really far away from anything, and that's another feature that the hotel has. It is as centrally located as any you can get, and for the price you pay, that's an amazing deal. As I mentioned when talking about the rooms, Bally's is not fancy. The casino itself doesn't really have any particular charm or flourishes that distinguish it. It's just a big room with slot machines and games, but it's a comfortable room. There's plenty of space to spread out. It's been my experience that the employees here are among the friendliest you'll find on the Strip. And so Bally's, my choice. Check it out if you're looking for a good budget option on the Las Vegas Strip. We'll talk some more next week about some more hotel tips. We'll talk about a little bit more upscale properties. And don't forget to check us out every Wednesday. We'll be continuing our feature, This Week in Vegas History. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up our series on Fremont Street. And of course, we'll be back again next week with another episode of Vegas Weekly. Until then, I hope that you all have a great, lucky, and healthy week. We will see you soon.